those anti-ICE protests that are happening all around the country. So of course we've seen what's been happening there in Los Angeles. And where this is happening in Los Angeles, we've seen that President Trump has now stepped in and sent in the National Guard and Marines to deal with some of the protests and getting them under control. Now, on the other side, as these protests are happening in other cities, including New York City, we've heard from some of those officials as well, wondering if the same thing could happen there.
Hey, guys, give me 1 sec. Frank just puked. He's been sick for a few days here. Give me 1 sec.
Chief of Department John Shell that he will not be sending the National Guard into New York City in regard to some of these anti-ICE protests. This is provided that the police are able to keep these demonstrators from acting out, as all according to the New York Post. So then when asked about the possibility of deploying the National Guard in New York City, current mayor Eric Adams emphasized that the city's large law enforcement presence does have the manpower and said that there are other options before turning to a military response there in the city. So again, we do know that both Adams and the NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch have also warned there that New York City will not be tolerating any violence tied to these ongoing immigration protests. Adams saying we have no tolerance for property damage or blocking traffic or for attacks on law enforcement. Any such acts will be met with swift and decisive response from the NYPD. And this is not the only place we've been watching. These protests there in New York didn't just pop up today. We were talking about them as well on Saturday, as several people also took to the street. But really, the constant chant that's been ongoing is ICE out of NYC. That's what these demonstrations have been called throughout the week as well. So I want to put this up on your screen. Wanted to make sure you knew that we were still tracking these images also coming into our newsroom. Putting this up, though, from the New York Post, saying that at least 15 people have been arrested in New York City anti-ICE protests, as thousands have taken to the streets as well. If we get any updates on these numbers, we'll bring them to you here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, though, as we've been talking about those protests happening, the place we've been focusing on mainly is there in Los Angeles. I want to showcase this live look that we have there as protesters are continuing to march down the streets in downtown LA. We do know that there's been some major news that's happened there in the last hour or so. Mayor Karen Bass has issued a curfew for the downtown Los Angeles area. She says this is in order to stop vandalism and looting as protests over President Trump's stepped up enforcement of immigration laws continues there in the city. It was in this news conference that she declared a local emergency.
Dude, how do I show you guys the video?
Running from 8 p.m. local time until 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. She says that the city has reached a tipping point. This after 23 businesses were looted as well. The curfew, though, just for context, is going to be covering a 1 square mile section of the downtown Los Angeles area. This includes places where protests have been occurring since Friday. The city, though, encompasses roughly 500 square miles, so that should give you some context into how small of a region this truly is. So also want to put up this vantage point as we do have just a couple of different looks here on the Live Now from Fox. This one also coming out of Southern